This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton OIlers discussion. The cat's all over me. They're a little bit lonely. It's been a long day, just getting down home for a video now. Just got off call with Buddy, just talking Oilers news for the day. And the one thing he pointed out to me is the fact that the Oilers, for part of practice, ran Tomas Jurco on the top line with Connor McDavid and James Neal. Now what that gets us going towards is obviously today's discussion on Tomas Jurco and the look that he could have as a top line winger, whether it be with Nuge or whether it be with Draisaitl and McDavid. Pardon me, I don't know if Nuge is even going to see any time up there this year. However, the question becomes, you got to look at how else the Oilers lined up for preseason practice today. And sorry guys, phone distracting, cats running around. It's been a day. But that aside, is the simple fact that they lined up all three centers, right? McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, down the middle today. And what that means is Gaetan Haas basically playing on the fifth line and Riley Sheahan on the fourth line. So an interesting look for the Oilers, because that means that realistically, if that's the way they're going to line up for the season opener, you've got some waivers coming. And there's going to be a guy or two claimed away from this Oilers team that has been here all camp. Now, let's not panic. Let's not freak out and start thinking about that. We've already done that in a separate video. What we're going to do today is just kind of look at, if they play all three centers down the middle, that opens up two wing spots for McDavid's line. And in no world do I see a Draisaitl-less top line with McDavid having Zach Kassian up there as well, because that, if you look at it, I'll try and pull this up again because I really want to try and get where the Oilers are going with this, and I want to try and explain why I have a theory on it, as I'm trying to explain to you without any real depth to my knowledge yet. Okay, so you look at the lineup, right? You'll look at how it lines up. You've got Jurco, McDavid, Neal. Let me just get this in here for you because I gotta get this in here. I was going to show you Jurco's stats, but we've already seen that, so we don't need to go back there. You know, he hasn't played in the NHL in over a year, so let's go get the lineup stats right here. Bang, let's go. And let me put in Oilers practice lines. Sept 27. Okay, there we go. Let's go. All right, now I'm going to try and make my point. If you're still with me after all the stammering and all the excuses, let's go make some magic happen here. So there's the Oilers practice lines. Let me enlarge that and let me go take this away. Bang. Okay, so this is where I'm going with it, right? Jurco, McDavid, Neal, Nygaard, Draisaitl, Chiasson, Kara, Sheahan, Archibald is the fourth line. What does that leave? That leaves you the third line in Granlund, RNH, and Kassian. Gagne, Haas, Bertasov, your fifth line. And then you've got Russell and Cave. So right there, guys, this is the ultimate question. Because as I was talking to Buddy on the phone, is the simple fact of, how do you make cuts to this team? Obviously, we like pretty much everybody. Bertasov's the real easy cut for sure because he's on a PTO and all that. But other than that, how do you make cuts to this team without losing someone who's had at least a decent showing in one preseason game? I think the easiest name that we'll all draw back to is Sam Gagne. Sure. But the problem is, the reason we're at this point is we've had another Ty Ratty preseason kind of pop out of nowhere. And that is in Tomas Jurco. Tomas Jurco came to camp. We're expecting him to come to work hard, and do the things right. Well, he's come to work, done things right, and gone and got points as well in several different lineup combinations. And that's the intriguing part here, because I go back to the Ty Ratty point. That's what Ty Ratty did in the preseason last year. And then you look where he found himself to start the year. So we go back to the age-old debate, are you willing to do the same thing twice? But, okay, it's under different management. It's a different set of rules. You can make any excuse you want, but essentially it is the same thing twice back-to-back years, hoping something pans out. And I was going to show you Jurco's stats. They're really not that much better than Mr. Ty Ratty's was. I can't even make an excuse for it. it's really no different. So, with that said, you then look at this 3-center combination, right? You don't have one of your elite centers playing with McDavid in this line to really see it blow up in your face and fail like it did for Todd McLellan at the beginning of the year. Yes, given Tyrati got injured and wasn't the same player after, and this and that led to the other thing. McLellan's fired, Hitchcock didn't use anybody, and down the road we lose the season. Yeah, okay, fine. But now we sit here and look at how this lineup rolls out without the guy on the line. And, well, geez, they're going to retire Crosby's number 87 across the QMJHL. Crazy. Anyway, back to it. James Neal lines up on that right wing position with McDavid. Now this is why you can kind of look at Tomas Jurco as being that guy that could fill that threat, right? Because, okay, yeah, sure, Nuge was a great winger. Don't get me wrong, and it was a great attempt to try and rekindle some magic from the year previous. Problem is, rekindling magic from the year previous is still rekindling losing magic. Is that fair? Didn't win in 17-18. We didn't. We were done in April, early April. So I think that's fair. Whereas with James Neal, I understand. Already the red flags are in the comments and I've been roasted. But, guys, this is a guy who's scored more than 20 goals in every season of his career except last year. We've seen what he's brought to this team in the preseason. We know that he's a bit more of a leader, outspoken type than Milan Lucic ever really could have been in Edmonton, because Lucic felt he had to put so much pressure on himself he couldn't be a hockey player in the Oilers system. Well, whatever. James Neal is a consummate pro and is going to do whatever it takes to help this team win by the sounds of it. So you line him up with McDavid. 2 training buddies, great friends. Well, they're going to form that kind of connection that's already there. Then you add in Tomas Jurco, who's your camp surprise. Okay, now you've got a top line. And is Tomas Jurco that guy? We'll find out. But the reason this is more valid than doing it with Tyrati last year and Nugent Hopkins on the other wing is because then you spread it out down the lineup, right? You've got Nygaard, Draisaitl, and you've got Chiasson. Well, guess what? One guy was on the top line last year for the majority, and Alex Chiasson was split all the way between the first and third lines last year. So you've got a guy who settles somewhere in the middle on the second line. Then you've got Marcus Granlund on the left wing spot for that third line, who's been on the third line or the fourth line all of his career. So he knows the role, he knows the play, he knows what to do. Then you've got RNH, who brings an absolute fantastic offensive threat, two-way game. He is what an Edmonton Oiler like Ryan Smith is and should be. That's as simple as it can be. He is an Edmonton Oiler. There's nothing else about him. He is what we want him to be perfectly. Yeah, sure, you can say this or that, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the embodiment of this team and needs to demand the respect for that, because it is without a doubt true. Then you've got Zach Kassian. Zach Kassian, guys, this is where it gets debatable, right? Obviously, maybe if you're going to run yourself a tough and rumble line, you want to run out there with Kara, Sheehan, and Archibald, or Kara, Sheehan, and Kassian instead of Archibald. Maybe. But Kassian, don't forget, just had a career year, can finish. Nuge is an elite passer, and Kassian loves to buzz the net, and he has got a shot. He's got a shot. We don't need to kid ourselves. So you throw that combination with Granlund, who goes to work along the boards quite well and does the little things right in the offensive zone, if given the playing time in the situation, well, you've got yourself a third line. Then you've got Kara, Sheehan, and Archibald. This line's impressed me. No doubt about it. This line has impressed me this preseason, and I want to see at least 5 games of it running out there and doing the job. I mean, if you're going to go out there and score with your face, I'm going to respect you 100% of the time, so I like it. Now, that leaves us to the fallout of having Tomas Jurco on the top line. I've already discussed how this makes us a better team, but there's the fallout, and that's what I'm getting at. That's my final point, is you've got Gagne, Haas, Bertasov, Russell, Cave. Cave is for sure in my mind. I don't think he's done anything to lose himself a job. Gagner's an incumbent. He should have a job. Now that's your 13th and 14th forwards, or at least somebody in there, right? I don't know who you kick out of that top 12 other than Jurco, who we're already saying is going to make the top line in this instance. So that's tough. He may be the incumbent in Sam Gagner, but he hits at 3.15 mil. Then you've got Bertasov on a PTO, and you've got Haas, who's by all accounts willing to go to the minors for at least a month. So what do? I think the fallout of Tomas Jurco is waiver wire stuff and trades. We already knew that. This is nothing new. If you sat here and you waited for me to give you groundbreaking news, it's not. This is the same situation. No matter how you fold this lineup, that way or this way, you're looking at something has to give somewhere. Unless you send down Cave and Russell. Easy. But do I see that happening? I really don't. Because I think what the Oilers really like in Colby Cave is what he brings as a player, and the contract is cheap. I mean, $675. That is dirt in the NHL in today's game. So, where does it break? I don't know. But now we know kind of if Jurco's the one on the top line, things break a little bit differently because we've got ourselves a more solid lineup. So what I want to hear is your guys' thoughts. Is Jurco a solution? Is he a test on the first line? What do you do? And I mean, I've asked you a million times to build this Oilers lineup, but I can literally, for the next 5 days, ask you how to build this Oilers lineup day in, day out, and you're each going to have a different response every single day. That's the beautiful part about what Ken Holland and Dave Tippett have done this off-season into training camp. Guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Holy crap, I just ramble. But I will catch you in the next one.